Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Coronation Street newcomer Jack Carroll teases Bobby's huge 2024 storyline. Coronation Street kicks off a new era for Carla Barlow in Wednesday's episode, December 27th, as she meets Bobby, the nephew she never knew existed. Bobby is the long-lost son of Carla's brother Rob Donovan, the memorable villain who's in jail for the murder of Tina McIntyre. Carla is shocked when Bobby turns up at her flat unexpectedly, looking for a place to stay after being kicked out by his mom. Britain's Got Talent star and stand-up comedian Jack Carroll has been cast in the role of Bobby, a new regular for the ITV soap. Jack recently chatted to Digital Spy and other press for his first interview about the role. It's absolutely fantastic. There's no better time of year, because everyone will be hopefully glued to their TV screens and I'll be there causing chaos and distracting them from their selection boxes, which is a great honor. It had been in development for a little while. Finally my agent called to say we were going ahead with it, and then I found out it was Bobby I'd be playing. It's a great part for me, I think. The fact there's quite a lot of comedic traits already there within the character is a good thing. Hopefully myself and the character can meet in the middle, which is where the best stuff comes from. Yes, a friend of mine is a writer on the show and he came up with this pitch. We were talking for a while about the idea. He came up with the character and I think that's why myself and Bobby are quite similar, because he's just heightened various aspects of what he knows about me from my stand-up act. That's made it a real dream to play. The amount of input I've had from what I've done before has accentuated those characteristics and has really helped it. It's absolutely fab. It really is a dream come true to be part of such a cultural institution. Bobby is a lovable trouble causer. He gets away with a lot and leans on his cheekiness and his disability. I wouldn't know anything about either of those two things, so it's been quite the stretch for me to play. Bobby is a humorous character, in the vein of a classic Corey funny rabble-rouser. There is an emotional part to him as well. That will get explored more as we go forward, and that will be fun to play as well. Bobby's dad is Rob Donovan. Basically his mom gets into a new relationship and kicks him out. She doesn't want Bobby around because of his friction-causing personality. He goes to the prison to visit his dad, who sends him to Carla's door for her to look after him. Luckily Carla takes pity on Bobby and takes him in, but it's not always a smooth transition for her and there's definitely trouble being caused. There's some funny escapades they end up in as a result. I don't know if it's a slight emotional manipulation tactic on Bobby's part, but he expects there to be a familial element and a familiarity right from the beginning. Obviously Carla's not really that kind of personality, so it takes a little while for her to warm to him. That is very funny. Bobby senses this familiarity and wants that. A double act begins to materialize, which has been fun to do. It's been absolutely fantastic, especially in the first couple of weeks on set. It was basically just me and Ollie, so I've been receiving her support and knowledge, and she's a really lovely person as well. To have her as my main foil for the first bit of the shoot has just been absolutely brilliant. That is the key to those scenes, really. We've become a comedy double act. Those first few scenes are almost like little two-hander sketches. I think they've been played really well. Absolutely fantastic, especially in the first couple of weeks on set. It was basically just me and Ollie, so I've been receiving her support and knowledge, and she's a really lovely person as well. To have her as my main foil for the first bit of the shoot has just been absolutely brilliant. That is the key to those scenes, really. We've become a comedy double act. Those first few scenes are almost like little two-hander sketches. I think they've been played really well. I don't really differentiate too much between acting, writing, or stand-up. It all seems to be one thing for me. You end up flexing similar muscles creatively, so I've never differentiated and I'll just take whatever I can get, I suppose. I still do stand-up. I've not done a lot while I've been getting comfortable with the role of Bobby and working on Corey, because it'd be too much work. But I'm planning hopefully to get back out on the road next year and start doing stand-up properly again. It's amazing. It's the execution of it as well. Even though the disability is mentioned and put front and center with Bobby, it's never in a trite kind of a way. He uses it and mentions it a lot, but a lot of it is to show that he is a flawed person and has his foibles, difficulties and quirks beyond the disability as well. So it's not just a disability-centric story, which I think is important. There's all different types of disabled people and they should all get the grace to be able to show that variety. We've hopefully managed to do that with Bobby. Yes. From my own stand-up, the disability factors heavily into my routines. It has been a source of humor throughout my life. I'm surprised they were able to get some of the jokes in the script that they did, but I welcomed it with open arms and thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's credit to the writers, it's absolutely hilarious stuff they've given me to play. I couldn't be happier that the humor has taken on that kind of line. It's very much in my wheelhouse, no pun intended. Yes, I have dipped in and out over the years, but it's one of those things that's been a constant thing in the corner of my living room throughout my life. My family are delighted and couldn't be happier. My mom and aunties are huge fans. My gran and granddad unfortunately both passed away relatively recently. They never missed an episode. It's a really good opportunity and a nice thing to be able to say I've done, so I'm very excited indeed. A few characters end up running into Bobby incidentally because he's a bit like me, not afraid to go up and have a chat with various people. It's always interesting in a long-running show to see characters interact with another character for the first time. That's been really good fun. I've had some really funny scenes with Maureen Lipman, who plays Evelyn. They've been absolutely fantastic. It's been great to work with her and she's a right laugh. There's various characters that end up colliding with him, so watch out for that. Yes, I'm in the factory, luckily not modeling any of the merchandise as of yet, but I don't know what they've got in store in the future. Carla has managed to swing me a job. There's a lot of me causing chaos in there as well, so it's good fun. Yes, I'm in the factory, luckily not modeling any of the merchandise as of yet, but I don't know what they've got in store in the future. Carla has managed to swing me a job. There's a lot of me causing chaos in there as well, so it's good fun. I think that is something that's been discussed for the future. He's got his eye on somebody. I don't think I'm allowed to say who that is yet, but it's definitely something planned for the future. It's good fun and another aspect of his chaos-causing behavior, which is fun to play. Not as of yet. He's a comedy character to begin with, but the backstory is very dark and complicated. Bobby isn't aware of much of it, but I'm sure that will get explored in the future. I think there is a naivety to Bobby which on my good days I probably share, but on every other day probably not. He's nice to play, he's quite excited about everything and just breezes through life. He's a little bit younger than me, so as you get older that becomes a little bit harder, but that's been nice to play. I've had a couple of scenes in Roy's. David Nielsen and I haven't interacted directly, but he's a very iconic character and I think if I'm hanging around there I'd like to do some stuff with Roy. That would be good fun. Roy's roles is my favorite set to work on. You invariably end up getting to drink tea and eat cake when you're in there for the scene, and they call that work. I only found out yesterday the nuts and bolts of what the story is. It is very, very exciting. I would even go so far as to say blockbuster. There's always a little bit of apprehension. I'd only been there a couple of weeks and then found out that I was going to be part of this massive storyline. After that dissipates a little bit, then you're just very excited to get stuck in, so that's where I'm at now. I can't wait to get working and expand on the character and see what craziness they put me in. I'm very excited.